Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. We'll go across the creek. That wasn't good.
It's often said that trout don't live in ugly places. That's mostly true. But for sure, wild trout live in some of the most beautiful and remarkable places on Earth. My favorite rivers carve through valleys of green moss and hemlocks. They're dotted with deadwoods and misty ferns. And there's only one thing that can put me in these places so deeply. Not just to hike through, but to become part of the system, with a place in the environment, if just for a while. It's the pursuit of trout. And so we fish, chasing knowledge and experience, and searching for trout that thrive in a canyon of limestone, with mountain laurel and waving pines as companions.
Getting a drink there, bud? Always the first thing I do. Stretch this leader. Grab 2 feet, 3 feet, stretch, stretch, stretch. This also gets to check for any weak spots in the leader, and I'm in good shape. Yeah, baby. So here we are. I'm gonna start off. I think it's gonna work. Start off with a crossover technique. Rig it up where I have a small to medium size streamer on the bottom, and then a nymph on the top, 20 inches up. Not too many expectations, just see what happens. Starting up with a half pint in this water. That's deep in there. I've been in there before. I've gotten stubborn in this water here before. Gotten stubborn, I mean about getting, all the way to the bottom. My first casts, I do not want to hang up. So I'm just gonna see if they'll move up, let's say to the middle of the water column, and take a swipe at a streamer. This half pint for me is kind of middle weight. It's not super heavy. Kind of glides down there. And I'm just gonna cover some of this deepest water in preparation. Hey, there's a swipe. In preparation for eventually getting down up in that stuff. Now, I say get down up in that stuff, like at the head of this run, because if I hang up in that, I can go get it. It's 2.5, 3 feet at the most. This is like 3.5, 4 feet. It's just too much. I just do not want to get hung up right away. It's just disheartening. I'm also curious to see if they'll be active and really move to the streamer. Hey now. Decent. Oh man. Good start. Yeah, that worked. Well, that worked out. That was nice. So he hit hard over in the soft stuff. He did come up to the middle, and I didn't have to get all the way down. I really feel like if I just come in there and just nymph it, get down, do what I kind of almost planned to do on the way in here, I don't know, maybe he wouldn't have eaten that. That's good. Learn something from it. Love the clouds. See what happens today. Try to get his big brother. And of course, I'm going to try to do similar things that I was doing, presentation-wise, it wasn't much. Let it be there, you know, just kind of let it be there, available for the fish. All the way over. I moved over here to the right so I can see better. Fish into the left. Come on, Trout. Hey now. So here's the thing, he ate the nymph up above. So it's the first time today this sort of the crossover idea is working for me. Extra big. Right there. Come on, Trout. Got windy all of a sudden. Can't see this very well. Fishing into the glare. I'm gonna come back to the right so I can more easily fish to the left and really see it. On my way over, throw some casts. I'm already starting to think about a presentation that moves the fly less, especially because this water's faster. But that first fish has me kind of excited. To want to just fish like pure streamer tactics, moving it. We'll see. I like this. So I know a lot of people think that tight line stuff, let's say casting this mono rig, is just lobbing weights around, but that is not the case. I hear people say it a lot of times, well, there's no real casting, you know, when you're Euro nymphing or when you're fishing streamers here on a tight line, there's no real casting. Yeah, there is. If you stand back and watch, you'll see, I mean, it's full turn over here, full turn over there. It's not this lob. The thing to really watch for is that full turnover. It gets out to the end of the line and then goes down in. If everything goes in like this, then you don't have nearly the control, and then you are just lobbing weights around. And that'll work. I mean, I think that's why so many people fish it that way. But here, it's a fly line style cast. And if I don't keep the speed in there, it's not gonna turn over. And if it doesn't turn over back there, the rod isn't gonna flex, and it's not gonna feel like I'm really fly casting. Anyway, the way I fish this mono rig, and so many other people fish it, is with good crisp casting in true fly line style casts. And you could see that. Almost every cast here, I'm getting full turnover and the fly goes in where I want it, and even the leader and the tippet goes in where I want it. I really think that's the thing that people miss the most. It's kind of disappointing because there's so much more available when you keep true fly line style casting in there. Casting is always about weight, whether it's in the fly line traditionally, or in this case it's in the fly, but then in this streamer. But then of course, I say it all the time, the standard mono rig build can cast itself, so it's a hybrid system. It's also pushing things to a target. But even if you're on a really skinny leader, like a micro mono rig build, you can still get full turn over there and full turn over there and get a fly first entry. You can still keep traditional casting in there. I say, I think you should keep traditional casting form in there. It really just opens up all your options. All right. One of the reasons I love fishing streamers is because I can do it at so many different angles. You know, I talk a lot about a golden ratio of nymphing. It doesn't have to be a golden ratio. There's when you're fishing streamers. I mean, there's so many angles that'll work, and I have my preferences. That was weird. Got a big old leaf. It's getting to be leaf season. I usually like the head of the fly pointed up and across, and I got the opposite of that right now. When I fish downstream, I mean, I get plenty of takes this way, but I get a lot more by not fishing this angle. I try to slow myself down, especially when I'm pulling that fly against the currents like that. Now here, the angle is different. The head angle is coming down and across. because I cast upstream, now it's got to face my rod tip. That's the easy thing to understand, is that on this tight line streamer setup, the head of the fly basically looks at your rod tip when you're tight, right? I mean, you can lay line on the water like that, and now the fly is going to be looking at the sighter essentially, or the line that's on the water. But the real advantage of this tight line streamer is that at any moment I could just stick the landing. I'm 35 plus feet over up to that bank, stuck the landing, sighter's up, just coasting it down, dancing around that rock, come around the front of it. Love that stuff. There's another one. Do a little jerk strip, jerk, jerk, jerk strip, nothing. So I'm starting to feel like I really want to do some different things. I am in some faster stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of fishing this streamer in a way where I'm moving it. You can see that I'm moving that streamer. Not a lot. I'm not really ripping it. But here's jerk strip, jerk strip, jerk strip. Right? And again, this is not a fly that's going to get all the way down very often. I'm going to hit this before I transition here, I think, to something a little deeper. Now, I'll tell you what. I want to fish that stuff up there because it's so much like the water where I caught that first bigger fish. Well, I just fell, broke my rod under the cork. I never broke one that way before. It's floppy. That's one way to break it. Yeah, that's new for me. That's a different one. I never broke a rod that way. Kind of tripped and pushed it out like that, landed. Yeah, underneath the cork. Okay, back to the truck. Maybe I'll come right back here, we'll see. All right, let's reset this day. Make a cup of coffee.
So I've broken a lot of fishing rods in my time. Maybe a dozen, maybe 15 or 20. I don't know. But something happens when you fish long enough and often enough. You begin to realize that a life on the water breaks things. The river wears things down. Really, whatever you do in life, whatever passion you're into, you're gonna go through some gear. You're gonna break stuff. And it seems like something always needs to be replaced, fixed, or improved. That's just part of the game.
Okay. Not bad, river dog. We got a reset. Jeez. All right. New rod, new day. Come on, puppy. You're ready to do some fishing. Come on, man. Well, it's second shift time. The sun's been in and out about an hour, hour and a half since I actually broke my rod. Because of that sun, I'm not so sure about, kind of the full streamer tactic working. I really am gonna jump right into the crossover idea of getting lower for longer, but also animating out of that dead drift. Gonna use a heavier setup with a streamer it'll get down and get in their face. I'd love for them to come up through the water column like they did at first this morning, but that was slowing down at the end of the first shift. So we'll see. Beautiful spot. Hey now. That fish ate on a little bit of motion. Just a little bit. Hey now. Little guy, little guy. Well, that's cool. Caught a couple smaller ones back there. Both ate the nymph. If I'm gonna throw a streamer at them, I'm often, in the way I'm gonna fish this crossover, lots of times I'm gonna fish it like a streamer. I call it a crossover because there's a streamer on the bottom and there's a nymph up top. You kind of do both. Sometimes I'll kind of almost nymph that streamer, but usually I like to kind of keep it going. And then there's other times where I'm gonna throw both flies up against the bank and I'm just gonna treat it exactly like a streamer and strip it off the bank. Sometimes I'm just nymphing it through. Sometimes I'm throwing it like a streamer and animating like a streamer. But because that nymph is there, it kind of inspires me to, you know, believe in a very just true dead drift. About half the time, I'll establish the dead drift and then kind of animate out of it. It's a fun style. A lot of times it catches a lot of fish too. So this water really kind of slows. It doesn't slow down, but it widens up. All right, it's a lot wider than some of the stuff that I just went through behind me. I'm excited to see if I can get them going. A little bit shallower stuff. He ate the tag too. There he is. Hey now. There's another fish. Ate the tag up top. So that's serious feedback. It really is. I'm moving downstream, get that fish above me. Let him work up. Once he's there, hopefully. Oh, missed him, lost him. Wanted to have him slide into the net. Anyway, that fish is like a few others. Everything's eating the tag. They keep eating that French fly. I will put 2 of them on, or another something small, right? Right now, they can only eat it in that upper position. It's about 20 inches up. Factor in your angles. It's probably just outside of the strike zone, or barely in. Anyway, it's first time today I've gotten like real data. 3 fish. Missed 1, 2, lost 1, that's fine. Doesn't matter if they end up in the net. As long as I know what fly they ate, that's what I'm looking for. I think a lot of people will come out and kind of think like, here's what I want to do. I know I used to do that. I went for a long time and I just fished streamers. I didn't care what the fish wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. And now my game is to kind of see what the fish are going to eat most. And when you have 3 fish in a row and then 1 up there that, you know, eats the same fly, I even A/B tested. As soon as I went smaller on the upper fly, that's when they started eating. I mean, that's data. That's what I'm looking for. That's what's fun. Now I'm going to try to take that data, and again, I might put 2 small flies on. Of course, the biggest fish today was on a streamer presentation. That's what I wanted. I finally got down in there. So I'm going to keep fishing this. Keep testing. It's not quite enough data, let's say, for me to really change things yet. I like what I have going on. Now another thing is that each one of those fish ate the upper tag, you know, the tag fly, which is probably out of the strike zone, but each time they ate it on an established drift. And by that I mean that the lower fly was down in the strike zone. So the upper fly slowed down, you know, slower than the column that's actually riding it. That's 3 or 4 fish, same thing, same bite. So in this water, it's getting, you know, more compressed, and I'm going to try pretty hard to get down sooner, lower sooner. Hey now. So that didn't take long. I had just fished through there. I got down in much sooner, and he ate. I love that. A little bit of A/B testing. And fish says yes. I like it when fish say yes. kind of fishing this level all the way across here. I'm looking for them in these lanes on the sides of these pockets. Each of these pockets has left lane, center lane, right lane, and I am looking to get them. It thins out a little bit, so I'm gonna take that extra shot off. I don't need that last one. Now I have less to do to help it along. There's the wind. Everything's a trade-off, right? Extra weight, hey now, extra weight definitely helps beat the wind, right? Now the wind's behind me, so I can kind of pull into it. And that's all right. It's coming from downstream to upstream, so I can kind of flatten out my sighter and pull into that wind. It's not too bad. I think I can get good drifts in, yeah, in here. Hey now, I like that. Thought that was a fish. Here comes the next gust. So in between gusts, I'll kind of do normal. And when it gets real anyway, when it gets real gusty, the wind, real strong wind, then I'll kind of flatten out my sighter. There we go. So the last couple fish, of course, ate the tag. It's good water. Could probably catch them, maybe catch them in a variety of ways. I'll probably stay with what I have. Gathering data though, I mean, I like to catch fish and try to understand what their tendencies are. Again, groups of trout doing the same things, kind of responding the same way. Earlier on, in that first shift, I had more response to the bigger fly. It's only 2 inches, but the bigger fly of a streamer, bigger food for them. You know, on this second shift here, after I broke my rod, I've had to get a little deeper, a little slower, a little bit more deliberate to convince fish. All right, next level then, sort of the next pass. Should be able to pick off a couple in here. I'm looking to get down in there. Hey, I like that. Come on, trout, stay in this level. I was kind of aggressive with him because I really wanted him not to go down into that fast stuff. Nice. Come on, trout, right there. It's in. Hey. Here goes the fish out of there. Come on the tan stuff, I can see him move. Fished right over him. Well, there goes another fish out of there. So I picked a section that has, let's say, active fish, enough, you know, active enough. All right, now I'm gonna zigzag it. The light's not great looking left, but I'm gonna hit it anyway. Now this current here comes in and comes down on me like this. Worst thing to do in the wind, yeah, is to try to force it with light weights. I just surrendered to it. I mean, I just need more weight. Fair enough. More weight to beat the wind. That's a nice piece of water in there. I wasn't getting down in. The wind was pulling me out of there. I like that. I even tickled the bottom a couple times. That's nice. Come on, trout. Right there, right there. That's new. Come on, trout, right there. That's encouraging. Even those fish that I just saw move, they're sitting on some tan pieces, and when I got close enough, they took off. That's good. So more than anything, I'm looking, okay, a water type, good, and I'm also thinking about, you know, how they were eating the flies. They ate in a couple different zones. They ate a few different flies. So I'd say the biggest surprise coming up through there is that no fish ate that tag nymph. I didn't change that. I just changed the lower. What's probably going on is it's just not spending enough time in a true dead drift. But this stuff up here, up against this bank, I'm very excited about all that stuff. So I'm gonna put the half pine on. That's probably my favorite streamer in these waters. And I'm gonna really try to just hit this bank. The stuff out in the middle, probably better suited for the heavier streamers that I've been fishing, but see what happens. I'm gonna try to be disciplined up against this bank, just with the half pint. I'm gonna keep the upper fly on though. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's a size 16 France fly. It's not gonna hurt anything. My buddy's over there. That's not his favorite thing. Want him all the way over here. Not quite sure what to do. He wants to cross, but he knows it's kind of a monster. This over here to my left. This is why I switched over. Absolutely, I could just catch him, hopefully catch him, on pure nymphs in there. And I kind of expect him to eat that tag nymph. But on many of these drifts, I'm gonna poke it into right in there. And just kind of goof around, do streamer things. Let it settle, and hop it up. Oop, I am gonna hang up on those rocks, I'm sure. There's some big rocks in here. All right, jerk strip, jerk strip, jerk strip. Head flip, and come over. It's in and then, hey! Yep, that's another rock. Ah, that's too bad. All right, on the bank, and he ate right after a little head flip there, like that. I hadn't popped it either. Just changed flies too, just switched over to the dirty stripper. Getting into fast water again. There wasn't a whole lot of this slower stuff. I keep saying slower, but the stuff down here, it just had a nice structure up against the bank. I didn't really make anything of it until just now I finally got a hit. So that didn't work out. Well, not completely true, right? Two fish swiped at it. Both kind of smaller though. I guess it didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it to. That's fishing. Whew. Nice. All right. There you go. Looking for rises. You see any rises, Riv?
So I had a couple of hours left and a lot of favorite water that I wanted to cover. The sun came out from behind the clouds and mostly stayed there. I watched for rising fish, but I saw none.
Good boy.
So I kept fishing the crossover, occasionally swapping out the streamer for a second nymph, but never changing the top fly. The trout ate a little bit of everything. And I fished alone among the limestone, just trying to solve mysteries, constantly forming new questions and looking for answers between the mountains.
All right.
It was a good day.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Made it go across. We'll go across the creek. Oh, yeah. Good. good day. That's about it. Broke a rod, caught some fish, spent some time. Good stuff, buddy. We walk out of here, go for a walk. Okay, let's go. Come on, pup, cross creek. Attaboy.